Usually when you call a bankruptcy attorney and try to ask them how much it costs to file for bankruptcy, they'll give you the runaround. They're not going to want to tell you how much it costs, and they just want to get you into their office because they think once you're in, you'll be hooked. We're not going to pull any punches. We're going to tell you how much the average case costs. Of course, complex cases are different, but we're going to get it out there so that you know what to expect and so there are no surprises. With a Chapter 7 bankruptcy for individuals, you can expect a cost of around $850 in attorney's fees. If a couple or an individual make a great deal of money, you can expect that to increase to about $1,000. If there are business or self-employment issues, you could expect that to increase to about $1,000. And if they make a lot of money and have business issues, you could expect it to increase to maybe $1,200. In every case, of course, you run into the occasional very complicated case where I would quote a unique price. But if you're in that boat, you know who you are. And when you come in, just expect us to kind of negotiate a little bit. There are also court costs involved. With a Chapter 7, the court's filing fee is $306. It can be waived in certain circumstances, and it can be paid in installments in certain circumstances. And there's also a class that you have to do before you file, and that class has to be paid for before you file. And it can also be waived in circumstances where you as the client make very little money. So you can get a Chapter 7 done, a simple Chapter 7 done for $850 in attorney's fees, $306 for the court, and $50 for that class. And the $306 court fee and the class fee can be either waived or paid in installments in the right circumstances. Now in a Chapter 13 case, if you fall under that category, Chapter 13s are actually cheaper up front, but in the long run they cost a little bit more. And I'll tell you how that works. In a Chapter 13, I require $200 to be paid up front to my office. Then I also have, you also have to pay the filing fee, which is $281 for the court. That cannot be waived in a Chapter 13 case, but it can sometimes be paid in installments. And then you have to pay for the class fee that's also $50. So $200 to me, $281 to the court, and $50 for the class is $531 up front. That's just a little under half of what it would take to file a Chapter 7. But that's not the end of it. Most of my fees in a Chapter 13 get paid as part of your monthly payment. In a Chapter 13 case, we file a plan with the court that says we're going to pay such and such amount per month for 36 months or 60 months if you're a high-earning debtor. And through those monthly payments, I get paid the balance of my fees. The court sets the fees in Chapter 13s, so don't let any attorney tell you that they're cheaper or that other attorneys are more expensive than them. It's just a bunch of hooey. The fees are set by the court. They're $3,000 for a simple case, $3,250 for the average case, and $3,500 for a complex case with self-employment or high income issues. With respect to a Chapter 11, this is where it gets complicated. Chapter 11s are complicated cases. They work like Chapter 13 in the sense that you propose a plan for repayment of debt. But they're not like Chapter 13 in the sense that there are no simple forms and simple rules that make the process slick and easy. So for Chapter 11s, everything has to be done from scratch, and it's really very expensive. For most Chapter 11 cases, I require a retainer up front, somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000. Now, if you're saving a big business that's a multi-million-dollar business, that doesn't sound like a lot of money, and it sounds perfectly reasonable. If you are trying to save a very small business, then the smart thing to do is to come in, talk to me about whether the business is worth saving. I do a free consultation, and that won't cost you anything. And we'll figure out whether a Chapter 11 is worthwhile in your circumstances. The filing fees and the class fees in individual Chapter 11s, I just take out of the retainer, so you don't have to worry about those.